So this video is called The Process. This is me explaining a little bit about the process that I use to help clients change their biomechanics, to affect their posture and movement style, to get more efficiency out of movement, and also help reduce any degree of chronic discomfort or pain that they're experiencing. Kind of falls under the move better, feel better, move more principle, meaning for a lot of people, they want to be healthy, and they want to be active, but they keep running into this cumulative injury cycle that people experience over and over and over again. And if you develop enough of these cumulative injuries, it starts to affect how you move, and you start to develop these chronic aches and pains from imbalances in how the myofascia is organized and also how the neurology fires from accumulating all of these injuries. And I recently heard somebody say that a football season, the first half of a football season is all athleticism, and the second half is all skill and coaching and management. And I'm beginning to kind of feel that way about life. I think the first half, you can kind of get away with what you're born into, your assets, your athleticism, your privileges, whatever you have. But how the second half of your life goes has a lot to do with how your skill and your development and your discipline and your focus and where your drive comes from ultimately determines a lot in the second half of life. And, if I had known in the first half of life, well, let me rephrase that. If I had listened to the people around me in the first half of life, I would have done more of this kind of work and less really intense powerlifting training. I would have trained differently. I used to believe that more was better, but the truth is more isn't better. Better is better. And a better quality of movement, I think, would have left me with a better powerlifting career and put me in a different place at this point in life. Now, if you're looking at this, you can see this is a 90-minute session condensed down to 10 minutes. What I'm doing right now is I'm in the releasing it phase, where I am trying to use tools to promote hydration and glide, and also neural mapping in my lower body muscles. I am focusing solely on lower body in this session. And what you're seeing here is actually my home studio, and it's very early in the morning. So you can see that I'm eating my steel-cut oats and my coffee while I'm doing the rolling portion, because rolling is by far the easiest part to manage. So when you're doing releasing work, the key here is to understand that you want to be inside a frame of tolerance where you're not killing yourself. In fact, over pressing and mashing on areas that are already in pain can actually sensitize them and make it worse. That's why doing the soft tissue work by itself isn't helpful, and that's why you need to also mobilize it. So the soft tissue work helps to increase neural mapping in an area and increase blood flow in an area to increase hydration and start to promote better glide between the muscles and the layers of muscles and the skin over the muscles and the whole fascial network. But the mobilizing it component, in this particular case, what I'm doing is I'm going through a series of isolated joint exercises, helps to promote range of motion, which means active flexibility that I can control. And it also helps to promote hydration of the tissues, just like the releasing it portion did, but it also helps to promote the neural motor control of that area, which is going to affect proprioception and therefore overall motor unit recruitment when I do integrated movements. So releasing it, really important for hydration and neural mapping. Mobilizing it, really important for all of those things. And now I'm starting to take care of my joints as well. Hydrating the joints, mobilizing the joints, promoting synovial fluid, and I want to start conditioning the ligaments and tendons around the joints, as well as work on consciously controlling them. So I'm starting to develop a skill here along with physical qualities. You have to understand that almost every adaptation in the human body starts as some sort of a neural impulse. Either it's the outside world giving us a stimulus that we then react to, or we make a conscious decision to do something in a particular way that ultimately leads to a form of adaptation. Now, hypertrophy is the form of adaptation that most people are after in the gym. They want to see muscle growth, or they want to see better endurance. But in athleticism, we want to see better performance. And performance is going to come from overall better relative strength and speed and power. And that relative strength and speed and power is going to come from significantly better motor control. So now I'm going to activate all the things that I just worked by now going into the different ways that these joints move, and I'm going to take them to their end range of motion, and then I am going to pull myself back using my muscles. So my muscles are being conditioned at their end range of motion to be stable, and I'm sending a signal to my body that says, hey, I'm strong in this position, give me a little bit more. And that's because I like to call it the law of 2/3. We have about 2/3 of our natural capacity available to us at any given time. And that 2/3 of natural capacity we can access. Now, when we're at a competition or we're adequately aroused, we're able to access that last third. But if we don't take care of our tissue and our joints and our bones and we access that last third, it is highly probable that we will have some sort of a negative effect that we need to recover from. When Eddie Hall set the deadlifting record the second time, they say, I've read, that it took weeks for him to recover from that on a neurological level. I'm sure his bones and tendons and fascia needed to recover as well. We have to always be conditioning the soft tissue, the neurons, and the bones together. And notice that I'm saying soft tissue, not muscles, because our muscles are a combination of myofascia and these myocells. The fascia gives us a scaffolding that holds the muscle cells together. So you can't say that fascia is somehow separate from your muscle. Now, do you have a layer of fascia in your body or an interconnected number of pockets of fascia in your body that affect your musculature? Yes, because it's a global system, and when you affect one area of fascia, you affect another area of the fascia. So if I roll a ball on the bottom of my foot, that actually can help loosen my hamstrings. Some of that is, a lot of that is neurological, and some of it over time is adaptive because of consistency. But most of the adaptation that you see within a workout or in the short term is neurological. So this goes back to my theory that almost all adaptation starts as a neurological impulse. Anybody that has started weightlifting knows that you get real strong real quick. That's a neurological adaptation. It takes weeks of consistency to produce hypertrophy or muscle growth from that habit. And the strength that you get will be from neural drive first and hypertrophy later. So the key takeaway from all of this is that my process of releasing it, mobilizing it, and activating it is all about starting with creating new neural pathways to help lower discomfort, increase control, increase hydration and elasticity, and ultimately create more resiliency so that you can train in the long term in order to produce those hypertrophy gains that you're looking for, but also at the same time be able to perform better and be significantly more resilient. I hope this has been helpful. If you liked it, please subscribe and hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the questions or comments tab so that way I can address any of those things in future videos. And if there's anything you'd like to know more about, please let me know, because it's always helpful to know what would be helpful.